All right, so if you have done the homework, what I've gone ahead and done is written the equation that goes with the first picture, because my hope is that you did try to do that even though that wasn't a homework question. And these are the equations that I came up with. It's a line when you are less than or equal to -1. It's this parabola from -1 to 2. And it's this straight line when you're greater than 2. And this, notice my symbols and notation, and hopefully if you tried it, yours went pretty good. Okay? Now to answer the questions actually asked. Number 1 wants f of 0. Well, f of 0 is 0 when you look at the picture. Number 2, f of -2. When you look at the graph, that one also is a 0. Number 3, f of 2. Okay, f of 2, there's a choice to be made. It's either the whole or the filled-in circle, and the filled-in circle is always going to be your answer. That one is where you actually exist. Number 4, for what value of x is f of x equal to -2? So this just has you working backwards. What is the x when y is -2? So when you look at your picture, y is -2. Where does that happen? It looks like it hits way over at maybe -4. And I think that yeah, that's definitely where that's going to be. You have to do a little bit of drawing on your paper probably to figure that out. Number 5, what is the domain? Okay, so the domain, as I look across, there's no holes or gaps or anything. So I'm going to put -infinity to +infinity for domain. Oops, I should have switched those, sorry. Range is my lowest and my highest value. My lowest is -infinity, and it stops at 4, kind of like the one in the notes. Actually, a lot like the one in the notes. And then number 6, oh, that was number 6, duh. Okay, number 7, for what values are you increasing? So for number 7, it's definitely going up in the beginning, so that would be -infinity, and it looks like it stops increasing at -1. But then it looks like it starts again at 0 until x is 2, okay? And then for 8, what is that? 8 is decreasing. So decreasing would just be that little bitty portion between -1 and 0. And then number 9 is where you are constant. Well, that would be anything greater than 2, because it's a straight line at that point, okay? So that would be our increasing, decreasing, and constant. The second one I have not done equations for. And in fact, I'm looking at it, you guys don't know how to do equations for it yet, so hopefully you did not waste too much time on that. There's a function in there that's a parent function that we have not covered yet, and it probably freaked you out. So that's okay if you didn't do it. And I'm not even going to do it either, because you wouldn't know what it was anyways. Alright, number 1, f of -2. So I'm just going to have to use my picture then, and it looks like it hits the y-axis at 2. Number 2, f of -1. Okay, that thingy at -1, it's blank, okay? And furthermore, you may have noticed a dotted line. Okay, that dotted line will have some great significance in your year. It's actually called an asymptote. But what it means is that your function is undefined there, okay? So if the function is undefined and there's blank and there's nothing there, then your answer for number 2 does either undefined or does not exist. So either one of those would probably, undefined or does not exist, would be fine. Number 3, f of 2. It looks like, it's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like the filled-in circle on that one is actually at 3. And then number 4 for domain. Okay, so domain's going to be kind of tricky because it is all numbers except for where that gap happened. And that gap was happening at -1, but everywhere else, x looks like it's going to be defined, okay? And so because of that, you have several ways to write it. You could either write all real numbers. Here's what I would do. All real numbers such that, that line means such that, x cannot equal -1. Or if you used interval notation, I know if you're at Central High next year, she would like to see it this way. -infinity to -1, then the u, -1 to positive infinity. So you're doing interval notation, and you're letting your reader know that at -1 something funky happens, so we have to stop there and then pick back up. Alright, number 5 is the range. So I'm going to look bottom to top and see if I see any gaps or holes. I do not. So either all real numbers or -infinity to positive infinity. And then number 6, f of x increasing. Okay, whew. So this is a little harder to tell. Remember to go left to right and kind of trace it. The only place it looks like it's increasing to me is from 1 to 2. Yeah, it's definitely going up from 1 to 2. All the other places, it looks like it's decreasing. So for 7, it's going to be, remember we're giving x values, not y. So -infinity on the x-axis, all the way to -1. And then at -1, that segment is decreasing until +1. And then at 2, it picks up and it keeps decreasing for forever. So that was crazy. Now, if you just did, this is also correct. You don't have to do a stopping point for this -1 right here. I would probably want my class to do so, but some teachers might be okay with you just doing that. So, since it's continuing to decrease and then decrease and then decrease. Alright, so either way. But that was kind of tricky, so I don't know how number 2 went for you, but hopefully it went okay. But like I said, this is a short and sweet lesson this week. And then next week, we jump back into, we bring back something old, and then we put an Algebra 2 spin on it after that. So lots of good stuff ahead.